All right, what's up, people? It's been a minute since I got on here, but I wanted to start off the month of April with a budget workshop. So, April is Financial Literacy Month, and April is also the first month of Q2, second quarter. So, I wanted to help a couple out with creating a budget for them. I'm just going to jump right in, y'all, and just get rocking and rolling so we can get this thing started. So yeah, it's a budget workshop for the month of April 2024. And the items that you'll need is you need your budgeting tool of choice. So whether that's my spreadsheet template, which is in the description below, or if it's your banking budgeting tool within your online banking, that's another option that I have in addition to my spreadsheet that I use. And a lot of other banks have it as well. Chase has an online budgeting tool. Redstone Federal Credit Union has one. Regions has one. Wells Fargo has one. Most of the big banks have a budgeting tool within your banking that will help you. I don't know if you guys know about it, but like for instance, Regions has one called My Insights or Insights, where it'll automatically create a budget for you based off of your previous 2 months spending. And then as you make purchases in that account, it'll categorize the purchases and then align them with your budget. So if you have a budget for groceries that's like $1,000 and you have a transaction that identifies that you went to Publix, well, it'll label it as groceries and then say, oh, this is going to come out of your groceries budget that we set up. And then you can use that to keep track of your spending so that you can accomplish your goals that you have as fast as possible. So whatever your budgeting tool is, also you got the apps. You got YNAB, you have Dayroll, and then you also have Every Dollar as well. So those are three apps that just come off the top of my head here. But whatever you use, you need that to do this. The concepts will matter mostly. So whatever we talk about, just apply the concept to whatever tool you have. You need your monthly gross income. You need your variable and fixed expenses, and then also your monthly money goals that you have planned. And these monthly money goals more than likely will come from any long-term or short-term goals that you have. So if you want to save $12,000 for for the year of 2024, then more than likely you have a monthly goal of $1,000 starting back in January to accomplish that annual goal of $12,000. So that's just an example. So those are the items that you'll need to follow along with this exercise that we're about to do. Who we're helping. So this is what they call a DINK. This is dual income, no kids. So they're both 30 years old and their gross income is $14,565. So these are some of their financial goals that were discussed. So goal number one is paying off high interest debt. Goal number two is to take advantage of a 401k match for the young lady, which for this presentation, her name will be Sarah. And then also save for an anniversary trip in about 18 months. So they want to save $8,000 for that. So those are their financial goals. So before I get into creating a budget for someone or helping them create a budget for themselves, I always look at where they are on my ultimate money navigation system. So for this, we have, and there's a video that I have going through all of these steps. If you look at my YouTube, you'll come across this video. It's called The Optimal Order of Investing. So you can check that out. But basically, here are the steps. Step one, cash cushion. Step two, initial emergency fund. Step three is the employer match 401k for your 401k. Step four is the debt repayment plan for high interest debt. Step 5, 6, 7, and 8. All of those, after step 4, you can strategize how to take care of 5 through 8 simultaneously. So that's why after step 4, I would figure out how to build my full emergency fund. And for a couple, I recommend 3 months because you have each other to lean on in case something does happen. So get 3 months built up for 2 people. And then when it's a single person, you do 6 months because you need more room because you're by yourself, you're single. So figure out how you can slowly build it up over a certain amount of time. Say you want to build it up in the next 18 months, figure out what that number is, and then go to maximizing any investment. So if somebody didn't have a match, then maybe this person can start a Roth IRA or something like that. or start investing in their company 401k, even though it doesn't have a match. And that's kind of the scenario that we have here. She has the opportunity for a match, but he does not. So as you'll see here, we're going to try to figure out when he can start investing into a Roth once they get done paying their high interest debt down. All right, so you guys just saw the steps for the money navigation system. They have step one figured out, the cash cushion. They already have established that, and then their emergency fund. They've established a 1 month expenses for their basically what is, I call it the four wheels. It's food, it's housing, utilities, and transportation. So for those four things, $3,000 covers their rent, it covers their food, it covers their car payments, and it covers their utilities. So they have that already set aside for their initial emergency fund before they start going head first into paying off. We're taking advantage of the employer match. They're able to do that because they have these two steps figured out already. And then that takes us to paying off high interest debt. So they're able to go ahead and start paying their high interest debt at this point. So notable deductions. And next we'll start going over their budget after we look at this. So notable deductions. Sarah, her gross income, as you can see, is $6,555. Her taxes are $1,640. She has insurances of $120, and she's doing her 5% 401k match at $325 a month. And then they match her. So her total monthly investments are $650. That takes her net down to $4,470. For Courtney, we have a gross of $8,010. Taxes for him is $2,000, $2,002. Insurance is $300. Roth IRA, that's where I just mentioned before. We're going to see when can this start. Right now, we can't start it because we have high interest debt we need to get rid of first. And then that takes his net down to $5,708. All right. So let's rock and roll. We're going to do an overview here. So first thing first, for the template, you just put in the month in this box. This box right here is a summary of your information. So as you can see, their planned income is $10,178. So their planned expenses, which are fixed and variable, is $6,099. Their debt payments, which are the minimum payments, are $1,250. And then their planned savings is $944. Right now, they have a margin after taking care of their base, their foundational expenses, which is any minimum payments, all their planned variable expenses, and all of their bills. They have $1,885 left. All right, so that's that section. This next section is where I said they have their cash cushion established already. So this will help them make sure their bank account doesn't go below $500, which basically creates a boundary for your spending. If you ever reach your cash cushion, then you want to say, hold on, I need to chill out. Like I need to change some stuff up with how I'm spending money. So that's what that is. I call it the space between peace and panic. So if you got $500 in the account for them, for example, they're at peace. If it gets below that or close to zero, that's when you start panicking. So you got to make some changes in your spending at that point. So we talked about the month. We talked about the summary area right here. And then we talked about the cash cushion analysis. So we want to make sure we end the month with our cash cushion or more if we decide to increase it. Next, we got some monthly goals here. You always want to have goals that you're working towards. That is the fuel that helps energize you while you're sacrificing and compromising any fun that you may want to have that you can't have right now because you're trying to accomplish your goals, or any I don't know, just extra stuff you just want to just sporadically spend. You got to kind of put that on hold while you're trying to accomplish your goals. If you don't have goals, then it's harder to go on the journey of trying to get yourself in order regarding your finances. So we got to have goals. So this is the monthly goals section. Their goals this month is to pay extra towards their lowest credit card. And then also they have that anniversary trip that we mentioned in about 18 months. They want to save $8,000 for that. So 18 months divided by 8,000, or 8,000 divided by 18 months is $444 a month. So that's that. All right. So as we can see, we got the income section right here, where we have both of them get paid on the first of the month. So you got both incomes and it totals here. And I have it broken out by week because this gives the opportunity for you to evaluate it by week, or if you want to evaluate it every other week. But ultimately they get paid monthly, but then they evaluate their spending weekly. So the planned spending, it carries over. So you got 4470 for Sarah and 5708 for Courtney. You got 10,178. And then over here in this column is just a repeat of that. It's the same thing. Planned income, 4470, 5708. You got 10,178. All right. All right, let's jump into savings and expenses. So as you can see, the only savings that we have right now is this travel savings for their 2025 anniversary at $444. So that's good there. All right, so let's jump into fixed expenses. So fixed expenses, they have apartment rent at $1,269. They have rental insurance at $80. And as you can see, guys, all this is carrying over to this planned column, because later as we track our spending, it gets compared to the actual spending column, and it tells you how much you have remaining over here. But for now, we're just looking at the planned column that we got. So rental insurance, you have $80. You have pet expenses for food and stuff like that. They have a dog. $123. Car payment, they only have one car payment. One of them is already paid off. $350 for that. Then you have a gym membership of $150. You have auto maintenance. I always recommend people put money aside for auto maintenance, because I think it's just a good habit. Yeah, you don't have an oil change every month. You don't have a flat every month. But when that thing comes, especially a flat, paying $300 and $400 for a tire, having that money already just gives you peace and decreases your stress around all this. Auto insurance, $100. Utilities is $292. Internet and cable is $80. Home security is $75. Mobile phone, $120. Subscriptions, $50. And then life insurance, $150. $2,939. This is the total of all their expenses, which is also the total of each week. They put their bills in the week that they're due to kind of keep you on your toes, but it adds up to $2,939 for their planned fixed expenses. And also, I just want to note, if you have a budget, most of these expenses can be automated. Automating your finances is the biggest way to decrease your stress around the issue. If you automate your bills, especially, like, there's really no need to be worried about, oh, my bank account's about to go under, or I can't afford this bill or that bill. If you have a budget, automate everything. You don't have to go manually pay stuff or deal with decision fatigue around your responsibilities. So automate your expenses. That's the biggest thing that we could ever do. And then also, I have these check boxes. As these items are paid off, you can just check them off. And it kind of helps you identify if, oh, I'm late on something, or I didn't pay this, or something, my automated payment didn't come out when I expected it to. So let me go check on that. But for people that are manually paying things, this is just a reminder feature regarding what was paid and what has not been paid. So let's go to variable expenses. So for variable expenses, we have entertainment for, and I always use the notes, just right click, notes. Yeah, there is. Right click, add notes. So for them, this is for date night number 1, date night number 2, for where they have 2 date nights a month. Hair and nails, you got $225 for Sarah. You got music for Spotify, a barber twice a month for Courtney. Fuel, got fuel for 2 cars to be able to fill up. So it's about $120 a week. Eating out, got about $100 a week. Groceries, $250 a week. Home supplies, that's just there just for like when you need tissue and paper towels and random stuff like that. So home supplies, you got $160 for the month at $40, $40 per week on that. Then down here, when it comes to couples, I always think it's a good idea for each person to have fun money, because it gives you some independence while you're both trying to accomplish these goals that are, I mean, really your financial journey is a lifetime. So yeah, you have various financial destinations that you decide on trying to reach, but ultimately having some independence and having money that you don't have to check in and say, hey, can I get this, or can we afford to get this month? Well, here's your money. Go buy your clothes and your shoes and all that stuff with your $300 per month. So both of them have that. That takes our variable spending to $3,160 for the month. And then lastly, we have our debt category. We have 3 items. We have a Chase credit card, we have a student loan from Great Lakes, and we have a Regions line of credit. Minimum payments here for Chase 500, Great Lakes 400, and line of credit 350. And I just want to go and look at the debts here. So I have a Chase credit card with a balance at the start of this month. The balance is 46.75 at 22%. I have a Great Lakes that's low interest, and on the money navigation system that I utilize to help my clients, low interest is like step number 8 out of 9. So we're not worrying about that right now. We're going to worry about this line of credit that's at 12% and this Chase credit card. So Chase is first. So you got Chase first, and then we want to hit Regions line of credit. We have discussed where they are on the ultimate money navigation system right here. So they've done step 1, cash cushion, step 2, initial emergency fund, and step 3, Sarah is able to get her 401k match. She's able to contribute to her 401k match. All right, step 4 is where they're at right now, where they're trying to pay off high interest debt. And we saw that they have the Chase credit card and they have the Regions line of credit that they need to hit right now. So their debt repayment, this is a summary of their debt repayment plan that they want to take and that we discussed and that I recommended. So their debt balance between those, that Chase card and Regions, is $71.75. Their minimum payments between those two, one is $400 and one is $350. So the minimum payments are $750. So the extra payment, which we saw in their budget at the bottom, their margin was $18.85. So when you combine their minimum payment with their extra payment, that gives you a total monthly payment that you can afford of $26.35. So the duration for their high interest debt payoff is 3 months. So by the end of this second quarter, they will have all high interest debt paid off. And that right there is the duration where, let me go back here. We asked this question right here. When can Courtney, if you look at the highlighted section under Courtney, when can this start for his Roth IRA? Well, based on this, he can start in 3 months. The Roth IRA can start for Courtney. And with that information, what I always like to do is to show people, if you do pay off your high interest debt and you get to where you can start investing, I always try to do an investment projection for them. So I just want to go over Sarah and Courtney's investing projection. So Sarah right now, and I just did this based on if they have $0. They're both 30 years old. If they have $0 in any investment accounts right now, this is how things are going to look for them. So Sarah, she has a monthly contribution of $650 per month. We mentioned that earlier, where she's doing $325 and her company is matching that same $325. This makes her annual contribution $7,800. Okay. Years to retirement, we just estimated 62 for these two. They're 30 years old. We have years to retirement of 32 years. Your average market return over the last 100 years or so ranges from like 8 to 12%. We're going to use the low end. All right. So we're going to use 8%. Her portfolio at retirement is estimated to be $1.1 million, as you can see here, $1,115,073. All right, so let's go to Courtney. Same thing. We're just looking at this as if they have $0 in their retirement account. And this was me helping two people that they didn't become clients yet, but I just kind of helped talk them through a budget. So I don't have all of their details to be able to include in this, what I'm calling the case study here. Whenever I'm helping somebody just create a budget, I was just asked, hey, can I use this anonymously as far as the numbers are concerned, especially if they're in a good situation like this. So monthly contribution from him is $500 a month. That takes his annual contribution to $6,000. And in Roth, the max contribution is $7,000. So years to retirement is 32 years. Average market return, 8%. His portfolio at retirement will be $886,978. So combined, they're looking at around $2 million at retirement if they were to keep this up. Ideally, their salaries will increase, a bit over time if they want to start a family or any of that. They can do that, but as long as they kind of keep things how they are and improve upon them, and they're going to be in a good spot. So that's how you, on a monthly basis, create your budget, follow your budget, and then make sure you're accomplishing your goals. The first step is creating one. And to be able to do that, you can make a guess. That's the least accurate way. You can just say, I think I spend this much on this and this much on this. You can assume or estimate. The next level up, what gives you some level of accuracy, is to look at your last month's spending. And I mentioned earlier where some banking tools online, they have a budgeting tool that they will tell you how much you spent last month on each item, on each category, depending on the bank you have. Um, but basically, review your last month's spending and make your budget based off that. The most accurate way out of I recommend three ways. The most accurate way is to review your last quarter of spending, your last 3 months. That gives you an average, um, and then you can get an average from your spending over the last 3 months, and that's the most accurate way that you can create a budget out of the three ways that I usually talk to people about. So, yeah, man, this is just a budget workshop. I wanted to go over an example of a budget that I helped make for somebody. And and if you got any questions about this, I'm really hoping that you guys get April started off right regarding your financial planning. There's power in a plan. And to be able to really navigate your finances properly, you have to have a plan. To get from point A to point B, you have to have a plan. You can't just get on the road, the money route, as I call it. You can't just get on the money route thinking like you're going to get to the final destination or your financial destination just magically. You end up in a dead end somewhere or in the woods on the side of the road with a map in your hand, if you don't have some type of direction set up for yourself. So get April started off right, get Q2 started off right, and let's get this money under control so we can reach our financial destinations as quick as possible. So if you liked anything in this video, if you want to keep up with these, then I'm planning to do these on a monthly basis, or we do a budget workshop just showing what people are dealing with. And if I don't get a couple or a person that I'm helping, then I'll just create a scenario that we can just use to study and see how people can use their money to reach their goals. So yeah, if you liked what you saw in this video, please like the video for me. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep checking in and seeing when our videos drop, and also hit the notification bell. So with that one, I'll see y'all next week. Peace.